step too late or too early, and you don't quite make it. 1/2 second too slow, too fast, you don't quite catch it. The inches we need are everywhere around us. They're in every break of the game, every minute, every second. Winners win and losers lose. I can't explain it any better than that. I don't know how it happens, but winners win. And if you create a culture of losing, if you keep being a victim, if you keep letting losing happen to you, if you keep letting people do you and treat you any kind of way, it's going to become a culture.
Winners win. What will America's team do? That is the question. What will the Dallas Cowboys do for the rest of the season? I know it's a struggle. We're going to break it down. We're going to check out the Cowboys coming after the bye. I'm Game Time Brian, otherwise known as the Mailman. Thank you so much. We are back. Cowboys are back after their bye week. They sit at 3-3. It's where I had them. Quite frankly, when I did my schedule prediction, it's out there. You can go look at it. I had us 3-3. I had us losing to the 49ers, who we play Sunday night. But it's how we got here that's alarming. It's different. It's different than what I expected. Again, a win's a win and a loss is a loss. So from that perspective, we're fine. But I think we all know better than that. I think we all know that they're not fine. And things that are coming out of the Star, I think, are desperation. I just hope that this coaching staff did something over the bye week, kind of like last year. I know there's some stats out there. People want to say, well, the better teams in the league don't use motion. Or like the top teams scoring offenses, there's not much motion. Well, I don't care. CeeDee Lamb, coming out of Oklahoma, was as much of a motioned player that you could possibly use. Last year, coming after the bye, after getting off to yet another slow start, albeit they were winning the games, their offense was struggling. And they still felt the need, based on the offensive struggles, to change. And what was that? I think it's motion. What motion does is schematically put your guys on the run, especially the young guys. But it puts the guys, everybody knows that when they play Dallas, they have to stop CeeDee Lamb. You heard it from Detroit. We just knew that we had a double CD, make sure he don't beat us, and we're going to be all right. This is where coaching matters. This is where you see Kansas City. They're motioning everybody. Route combinations are big, especially these young guys. You need to get them involved in the game early. I think what Dak needs to do, instead of worrying about CD off the bat, is kind of go through that first read and go right to the second read, because there have been times where Jalen Brooks is wide open, but he's not getting to that read. The ball's supposed to go to your first read. If it's close, Dak's going to throw it. I get it. You can't sit back and hold the ball. But maybe you're going to have to here's the problem. Once you look away, you're basically done from that receiver. So, he wants to get the ball to CD. Dak needs to do something to change to be able to get the ball out to somebody else, because there's people that are open. But I think it would be easier for him and not such tight windows if we used motion. That's just me. People. I think that's what needs to happen. And let's see, you know what I mean? I think that's what needs to happen. Reading an article here, it says, and I'll share it here. I will share it. It says, where do the Cowboys stand as they exit their bye week? Okay. Basically, after the devastating 47-9 loss to the Detroit Lions in week 6, Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott had a message for his teammates as they went to the bye week. Look in the mirror. Go watch these 6 games over the bye week. Take a few days off. Reset and be ready when we get back in the building Monday. To refocus and do every single thing that you can do to help this team, Prescott said. And everybody has a role, whatever that role may be. Make sure you understand what it is. If it is bigger than what it was a few weeks ago, if it's smaller, whatever it may be, figure out a way to be an absolute best at it. That includes yourself, Dak. I'm not trying to throw shade, but I'm going to throw shade. You're the quarterback of the football team. You got to be better in the red zone. You got to be better with ball security. You have not been good. Statistically, you've had some good games. I think most of us will keep it 100 and say, usually when we're getting blown out. This year, you're a good quarterback. We're not arguing that, but nobody wants to hear this because it's not fair, but for what you're making, people expect more, Dak. That's just a reality. Sorry. When I go out and I buy an expensive vehicle, I expect it to perform better than that beat up Saturn. We'll go with Saturn since Saturns are no longer in existence. Since that beat up Saturn I used to own, I expect my BMW to be running tip-top shape. So, Dak, you got to get your act together, bro. 11 games left. We're going to take it one at a time. San Fran's next. So we watched these 6 games. Go ahead and jumpstart a couple of their games and be ready, as I said, to refocus after the reset. Despite the collective bargaining agreement saying players must have 4 consecutive days off during the bye week, the Cowboys took 6. At 3-3 and left it dispirited after the Lions, maybe getting completely away from things. That was the better call. Than 1 or 2 practices. Yeah, I agree with that. Just let them go. But the Cowboys season hangs in the balance as the Cowboys return to play to San Francisco at Levi Stadium, 8:20 on NBC. Entering Week 7, the Cowboys did not have a better than 43% chance of winning any of the next 5 games, according to ESPN Analytics. Just to let you know, Analytics had them losing to Pittsburgh. Analytics had them losing the opener in Cleveland. So take that for what you will. You can analyze anything ad nauseum, okay? That I wouldn't worry about that as much. Injuries happen. What an analytic may say today is going to be different. Just talk to, the Bucks, who lost multiple players. Just talk to the 49ers, who lost multiple players. So Texans and Commanders lead their divisions. The Eagles and Falcons are in second in their divisions. 3 of those 5 are away from home, though that may be a good thing since the Cowboys' 3 wins have come away from AT&T. A week ago, Mike McCarthy's news conference was delayed by 2 hours. He had a full player meeting, then met with the leadership council, a select group of veterans designed to keep the pulse of the locker room, which ran long. From there, he had to go to personnel meetings. Yeah, he sat with Jerry and watched film. McCarthy's message to the players, a number of things. Obviously, I addressed the performance versus Detroit, just the things, really, the basics. We cannot function where we are as far as the number of giveaways and lack of takeaways. Yeah, turnover. We're a +6 in the turnover margin. We've given up 6 more turnovers than what we've gotten. Just keep it about things we didn't do, and make sure that the direction was clear. The Cowboys have been hit by injuries just like many teams. All-pro cornerback Deron Bland could make his season debut against the Niners after having foot surgery in August. All-pro pass rusher Micah Parsons could return after missing the past 2 games with a high ankle sprain. A defensive end, Marcus Lawrence, is on injury reserve and will miss at least 2 more games. Yeah, he has to miss 2 more. You have to miss a total of 4. The last time he was spotted, he was on a scooter before the Lions game, as will wide receiver Brandon Cook's knee and defensive end Marshawn Nealand. So they're all, Brooks, Nealand, and Lawrence are all out for 2 more games. This return will be helpful, but the Cowboys struggled on both sides of the ball. Even with Parsons, Lawrence, Cooks, and Nealand were healthy. It's important to remember that. Even with everybody there, we struggled mightily against the Ravens, which the final score doesn't really indicate, and New Orleans Saints, who came in and throttled the heck out of us, and they haven't won a game since. So how good were they really? I think it's more of a Dallas has to take care of themselves before and not worry so much about the opponent. I know that sounds weird. They're going to have a game plan. They're going to have a plan to play the opponent. But I think it's more important that the Cowboys worry about themselves first. Fix themselves at 3-3. The record is better than how they're playing. 3-3 is not horrible. There's a lot of teams in this league that would love 3-3. I had them in 3-3. Again, we're going to break down the schedule going forward. I had them at 3-3 at the bye, finishing with 10 wins. I think 10 is going to be tough to get to, but these next 4 games is going to go a long way to see if we can get to 10. I still think we can, but we need to see some change. We need to see some serious change, not so much on the road, but at home. Let's see. The Cowboys were 4-2 coming off the bye last season. 2 weeks removed from the 32-point loss at San Fran. They won 6 of their next 7 games, but only 2 of those wins came against playoff teams, the Eagles and the Rams. I remember that. Eagles was a blowout, 33-13, and the Rams was a close game that we ended up, I think, in the last 10 minutes of the game, we opened it up, but it was a close game. They also didn't have any major questions to answer. They are in the bottom third in red zone offense. They're 37.5% in red zone. Red zone defense, 73.7% of the time the opponents are getting a touchdown. Rushing offense, 77.2, which is not good. Yards allowed per play, 7.5 yards per play. Giveaways 11, takeaways 5. So we're a plus 6. So that is where we sit. That is where we sit with the Dallas Cowboys. Right now, we're going to get the schedule to finish up this video, but that's where we sit with the Dallas Cowboys. A lot of questions, a lot of injuries, a lot of ifs and buts and candy and nuts. Bottom line is you need to find a way to go win a game. Now, again, I think for psyche, it's important to win this game for a myriad of reasons. I think just our sheer unwillingness to be able to beat the 49ers. We haven't been able to beat them. People are going to say, oh, well, they're beat up. There's nobody more beat up than the Dallas Cowboys. The one thing the Niners play is hard. And another thing, they're a very well-coached team, even though I don't really care for Kyle Shanahan. Those are the facts. He's a well-coached, that's a well-coached football team. Yes, I expect Debo to be there. They should. Expect a heavy dose of Kittle. Ayuk is out for the year. No Christian McCaffrey, but Mason runs hard, big time. So, again, if we could find a way to beat a San Fran, then a light comes at the end of the tunnel a little bit. I know it's a tough stretch, but we got to find a way to win 2 out of the next 3 games. That's the key for the Cowboys. And it's an ebb and flow league. But let's look at that. I'm going to switch my camera up. Well, hello there. We're gonna go that, and then we're gonna go with this. There we go. All right, here we go. So we'll sit there 3-3. We just to tell everybody how we got here. We beat the Cleveland Browns 33-17, lost 44-19 to the Saints. We lost 28-25 to the Ravens. Wasn't as close as the score. We beat the Giants, and we beat Pittsburgh, and we lost to Detroit. So, again, it's not as bad as what people think. It's just those losses. Remember, last year, we were blowing out everybody early on, and we got a little full of ourselves. That's why I was trying to tell everybody it's never as bad as you think. We got full of ourselves last year because we were blowing everybody out. Literally started off the season in New York 40-0. So things got skewed about how the Cowboys were. Now, we were playing good, but San Fran, we got to find a way to win this game. We have to. If we can get to 4-3, okay. In reality, you got to split one of these two games at San Fran, at Atlanta. To me, I don't think it's fair to say you're going to win them both. You got to find a way to win one. Let's get the first one. Let's get San Fran. Kind of like the Pittsburgh-Detroit. I said, let's beat Pittsburgh because Detroit I knew was coming out for blood, revenge. They pulled all the stops. Just get a win in the next two games. I don't care how it's done. Let's say we beat San Fran, go to Atlanta, lose. Let's say we're 4-4. Eagles at home. I'll be there. Eagles, you have to win that game against the Birds. That's a divisional game. You're 1-0 in a division. You got to win that game. I had them split with the Eagles prior to the season. That's a game I know they could win. So that's probably the easiest game of the three that we're looking at. Not that the Eagles are easy, but because we know each other, we normally take care of business at home. Whether we do or not, I don't know. But so for 4-4, we get to win at home against Philly. That would move us to 5-4. I know early in the season I had us losing to Houston. Houston's playing good, but where we were coming, if we're winning 2 out of 3 against that schedule, I think we can beat Houston. Okay, so I'm going to give us a win here, but we can redouble back and maybe give us a loss. But so, we were 4-4, 5-4. We're 6-4 after Houston. I think we're losing to Washington. I think we go to Washington and lose. That's 6-5. We're going to beat New York 7-5. Cincinnati, they're not as good as they were last year. Now you're looking at 8-5. Carolina 9-5. Tampa Bay is getting beat up. That's 10-5. 10-6. 10-7. So again, if you see how the schedule comes down, I think they lose at Philly, and I think we probably won't need the game against Washington. We could still win 11 games, or we lose that Houston game, like I said. So 10 wins is still easily had, but you have to win 2 out of the next 3 games. That's it. It's not as bad as what people think, everybody. It's really not. I don't believe it is. I don't believe that it's as bad as where everybody's thinking. What's bad is our health of our football team. But again, that's no excuse. We're going to play the 49ers on Sunday night, and they're not going to use injuries as an excuse. Okay? It's everybody has to do their job. Stop trying to do everybody else's job. I think a big guy, and I don't know if he's going to be ready, but is Eric Kendricks. Eric Kendricks needs to be available for this football team for us to be successful. We just do. So, that's it. Everybody needs to relax. Everybody needs to take a breath. Mike McCarthy has won a Super Bowl. He's a good coach. He gets in his own way sometimes. We got a lot of young players that we're counting on. Okay, I just want people to understand this is where I had us at 3-3, albeit in a different way. I laid out the schedule. It's not as bad as people think. So get your head out of your butts and start being positive. Don't get me wrong. We're going to analyze the games. We're going to be here for them all. But again, it's a long off season. There's only going to be one Super Bowl winner when it's all said and done. And I can only speak for us Cowboy fans. If it ain't us, I'm not going to be happy. But then as soon as the season's over, we turn the page and worry about next season. Let's stay focused on this season. It's not over. It's not over. I'm getting ready to go to Dallas for a game, and people go, oh, well, look, why are you going? Why are you giving them money? Listen, you can't pick and choose necessarily. I got lucky the last time I was, the first time I ever went to Dallas that I went to a game was the year that they won a Super Bowl. So, it is what it is. This is going to be my first experience at AT&T Stadium. It's going to be fun. I've seen AT. I drove by it, but haven't been in it. We still got to get tickets. Mark Holmes. Get your head out of your keister. Let's go. Time to roll, bro. But anyway, that's it. That's the video. I'll probably put this up I'm probably just going to post it. So, all right, everybody, don't forget, this is, as I record this is morning. So, I'll see everybody. I'll actually do a morning video on the way to work. So maybe I don't know. I'll figure it out. You may see this before or after. I'll probably just post it. I think I'm just going to post it. So, all right, everybody. I'll talk to everybody later. Just remember, and don't ever forget.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah!
Late.